भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
So I will read the text 3 times and then you please recite. Rite ratham yat pratiyet na pratiyet chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yatha vaso yatha tamaha. ऋतेऽर्थं यत् प्रतीयते न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद् विद्यात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। ऋतेरथं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्या आत्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः. Please recite.
ते अर्थं यत् प्रतीयेतो न प्रतीयेतो चात्मनि तद्विद्यात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। हरे कृष्ण।
प्रीतेर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यात् आत्मनो मायं यथा भासो यथा तमः। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
ऋते अर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद् विद्याद् आत्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
ऋतेरितं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यात् आत्मनो मायं यथा भासो यथा तमः।
कृतेऽर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः।
Anyone else would like to cite? Okay, then I'll cite. ऋतेरथं यत् प्रतीयेत् न प्रतीयेत् चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः. Synonyms: rite, without; artham, value; yat, that which; pratiyet, appears to be; na, not; pratiyet, appears to be; cha, and; atmani, in relation to me; tat, that; vidyat, you must know; atmana, my; mayam, illusory energy; yatha, just as; abhasah, the reflection; yatha, as; tama, the darkness. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy. That reflection which appears to be in darkness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, it has already been concluded that in any stage of cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, its growth, its interactions of different energies, its deterioration, and its disappearance, all has its basic relation with the existence of the personality of Godhead. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relation with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conclusion is called a product of illusory energy of the Lord. Because nothing can exist without the Lord, it should be known that the illusory energy also an energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yoga Maya or Maya of union. And wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called Lord's Devi Maya or Mahamaya. Both the Mayas also have connections with the Lord. Because nothing can exist without being related to Him, as such, the wrong conception of detaching relationship from the Lord is not false but illusory. Misconceiving one thing for another thing is called illusion. For example, a rope as a snake is illusion, but the rope is not false. The rope as it exists in front of the illusion person is not at all false, but the acceptance is illusory. Therefore, the wrong conception of accepting this material manifestation as being divorced from the energy of the Lord is illusion, but it is not false. And this illusory conception is called the reflection of the reality in the darkness of ignorance. Anything that appears as apparently not being produced out of my energy is called Maya. The conception that the living entity is formless or that the Supreme Lord is formless is also illusion. In Bhagavad Gita 2.12, it was said, the Lord in the midst of the battlefield that warriors standing in front of Arjuna, Arjuna himself, and even the Lord had all existed before. They were existing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they would all continue to be individual personality in the future also. Even after the annihilation of the present body, and even after being liberated from the bondage of material existence. In all circumstances, the Lord and the living entities are individual personalities. And personal feature of both the Lord and the living beings are never abolished. Only the influence of the illusory energy, the reflection of light in the darkness, can, by the mercy of the Lord, be removed. In the material world, the light of the sun is also not independent, nor is that of the moon. The real source of light is Brahma Jyoti, which diffuses light from the transcendental body of the Lord. And the same light is reflected in varieties of light, the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of the fire, or the light of electricity. So the identity of self as being unconnected with the Supreme Self, the Lord, is also illusion. And false claim, I am the Supreme, is the last illusory snare of the same Maya or the external energy of the Lord. The Vedanta Sutra in the very beginning affirms that everything is born from the Supreme, and thus, as explained in the previous verse, all individual entities, living entities, are born from the energy of the Supreme Living Being, the personality of Godhead. Brahma himself was born from the energy of the Lord, and all other living entities are born from the energy of the Lord through the agency of Brahma. None of them has any existence without being dovetailed with the Supreme Lord. The independence of individual living entities is not real independence, but is just a reflection of the real independence existing in the Supreme Being, the Lord. The false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls is illusion, and this conclusion is admitted in this verse. Person with a poor fund of knowledge becomes illusion, and therefore the so-called scientists, psychologists, empiric philosophers, etc., become dazzled by the glaring reflection of the sun, moon, electricity, etc., and deny the existence of the Supreme Lord, putting forward theories and different speculation about the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of everything material. The medical practitioner may deny the existence of the soul in the psychological body construction of an individual person, but he cannot give life to a dead person, dead body, even though all the mechanisms of the body exist even after death. The psychologist may makes a serious study of psychological condition of the brain as if the construction of the cerebral lump were the machine of the functioning mind, but in the dead body, the psychologist cannot bring back the function of the mind. These scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction independent of the Supreme Lord are different, reflective, intellectual gymnastics only. But at the end, they are all illusion, nothing more. All such advancement of science and knowledge in the present context of material civilization is but an action of covering influence of the illusionary energy. The illusionary energy has two phases of existence, namely the covering influence and the throwing influence. By throwing influence, the illusionary energy throws the living entity into the darkness of ignorance. And by covering influence, she covers the eyes of man with a poor fund of knowledge about the existence of Supreme Person who enlightened the supreme individual living being, Brahma. The identity of Brahma with the Supreme Lord is never claimed herein. And therefore, such a foolish claim by a man with a poor fund of knowledge is another display of the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 16.18 to 20 that demonic persons who deny the existence of the Lord are thrown more and more into the darkness of ignorance. And thus, such demonic persons transmigrate life after life without any knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sane man, however, is enlightened in the disciplic succession from Brahmaji who was personally instructed by the Lord, or in the disciplic succession from Arjuna, who was personally instructed by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. He accepted the statement of the Lord, Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravatate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. The Lord is the source of all emanations, and everything that is created, maintained, and highlighted exists by the energy of the Lord. The sane man who knows this is actually learned, and therefore he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Although the reflective energy of the Lord displays various illusion to the eyes of person with a poor fund of knowledge, the sane man knows clearly that the Lord can act even from far, far beyond our vision, and by his different energies, just as fire can diffuse heat and light from a distant place. In the medical science of the ancient ages, known as Ayurveda, there is a definite acceptance of Lord's supremacy in the following words. Jagadyoner anichayasa chid anandakai rupinha pumso isti prakriti nitya pratichayeva bhasvataha acetanapi chetanya yogena paramatmana akrodh vishvam akhilam anityam nata akakritim. There is one supreme person who is the progenitor of this cosmic manifestation and whose energy act as prakriti or the material nature, dazzling like a reflection. By such illusory action of prakriti, even dead matter is caused to move by the cooperation of living energy of the Lord. And the material world appears like a dramatic performance of the ignorant eyes. The ignorant person, therefore, may even be a scientist or psychologist in the drama of Prakriti, while the sane person knows Prakriti as illusionary energy of the Lord. By such a conclusion as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that the living entities are also a display of the Lord's superior energy, Para Prakriti, just as the material world is a display of Lord's inferior energy, Apara Prakriti. The superior energy of the Lord cannot be as good as the Lord, although there is very little difference between energy and the possessor of the energy, or the fire or the heat and the heat. The fire is possessed of heat, but heat is not fire. This simple thing is not understood by man with poor fund of knowledge, who falsely claim that the fire and heat are the same. This energy of the fire, namely heat, is explained here is as reflection and not directly fire. Therefore, the living energy represented by the living entities is the reflection of the Lord and never the Lord himself. Being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entity is dependent upon the Supreme Lord, who is the original light. This material energy may be compared to darkness as actually it is darkness. And the activities of the living entity in the darkness are reflection of the original light. The Lord should be understood by the context of this verse. Non-dependence of both energies of the Lord is explained as Maya or illusion. No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance simply by the reflection of light. Similarly, no one can come out of the material existence simply by the reflected light of the common man. One has to receive light from the original light itself. The reflection of sunlight in the darkness is unable to drive out the darkness, but the sunlight outside the reflection can drive out the darkness completely. In darkness, no one can see the things in the room, in a room. Therefore, a person in the dark is afraid of snakes and scorpions, although they may not be such things. But in the light, the things in the room can be clearly seen, and the fear of snakes and scorpions is at once removed. Therefore, one has to take shelter of the light of the Lord, as in the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam, and not the reflective personality who has no touch with the Lord. No one should hear Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who does not believe in the existence of the Lord. Such a person is already doomed, and any association with such a doomed person makes the associator also doomed. According to Padma Purana, within the material compass, there are innumerable material universes, and all of them are full of darkness. Any living being, beginning from Brahmas, there are innumerable Brahmas in the innumerable universes, to an insignificant ant, are all born in darkness, and they require factual light from the Lord to see him directly. Just as the sun can be seen only by the direct light of the sun, no lamp or man-made torchlight, however powerful it may be, can help one see the sun. The sun reveals itself. Therefore, the action of different energies of the Lord or the personality of Godhead himself can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The impersonalists say that the God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of God, not by man-made speculation. Here, this light is specifically mentioned as Vidyat, which is an order of the Lord, which is an order by the Lord to Brahma. This direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of his internal energy, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Not only Brahma, but anyone who may be graced by the Lord to see such merciful direct internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead without any mental speculation. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरदस्य ज्ञानञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितामिन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवं श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचरणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशताणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतशनुमा पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तवतारं भक्तकं नमामि भक्त शक्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायश भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवसेव्या भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्ट की। हरे कृष्णा। So thank you all for joining. So this verse is actually the one of the verses, the four seed verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, what we call Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. So in the beginning of the creation, Lord Brahma meditated on Lord Krishna, and then Lord Krishna appeared in front of Brahma, and these are the 4 verses that were being delivered by Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma. So these verses are basically in second canto, chapter number 9, verse number 33, 34, 35, and 36. So the previous verse number 33, was basically explaining the personal feature of the Lord. That Lord is a person and he has a personality, and we all have a relationship with the Lord. So that is the part what we call Jnanam. In the Vedas, there are 3 things are mentioned primarily. First is Sambandha, second is Abhidheya, third one is Pariyojana. Sambandha means to understand who we are, who is Lord, and what is our relationship with the Lord, and what this material world is about. All these things are explained in Sambandha Tattva. Then we have Abhidheya. Abhidheya is a process through which we can approach the Lord, through which we can achieve the Lord. That's Abhidheya. And third one is the Pariyojana, or the final Tattva, which is basically Krishna Prema. So in the verse number 31, Lord explained that there are 4 components that basically, like he's explaining in these 4 verses. One is the Jnanam. Jnanam is the about the Lord, about the living entities, and the Vijnanam. Vijnanam, how this material world works, and how we are basically entrapped into this material world, and what the Maya is. And Tad Angam. Tad Angam is basically the devotional process, the bhakti process, or sadhana bhakti. And Saharasyam. Saharasyam is basically prema bhakti, the Prayojan Tattva, or what the love of Godhead. So today we are discussing this Vijnana Tattva, which is a part of Sambandha Tattva. So in Vijnan here, Krishna is explaining that in the previous verse, as Krishna explained, the personal feature that he is a person, and there is a person and the living entity is also a person. So how the living entities are entrapped into this material world. So here he says, Krishna says, Rite ratam yat pratiyet na pratiye chatmani tad vidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tama. So here he's saying, oh Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value. So in this material world, we see there are many things are there. Many things that have value, many things which are very important under those. So here Krishna is saying, whatever you think that of any value, even a 1 cent, a penny, even a small penny have any value, that is value because it has a relationship with the Lord. So here Krishna is saying, whatever appears to be any value, if it is without relation to me, if you do not see that thing as in relationship with Krishna, has no reality, means it's Maya. In Chaitanya Chatam, it is said that Krishna Surya Saman, Maya hi andhakar, jahan Krishna taha Maya nahi adhikar. Wherever there is Krishna, there is reality, there is everything. But wherever there is a light, wherever there is no Krishna, there is Maya. So if we see anything in the material world as it's separate from Krishna, means that has no value. That has no value in reality, because that is illusion. So anything we see Krishna in relationship with Krishna is really a important thing. Anything without Krishna is have no value. Like we say, people have met very good qualities. Somebody is a very good speaker, somebody is a very good artist, somebody is a very good doctor, somebody is a very good engineer, scientist, whatever. They are like zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. A person might have 10, 15, 20 zeros, but those zeros have no value until you put 1 in front of that. Suppose you have 10 zeros. So if you don't have Krishna, all those 10 zeros will remain as zeros only. But if you put one in front of all the zeros, which is Krishna, then everything become valuable. Everything become valuable. So here Krishna is saying that whatever you see, if they are separate from, if you see as a separate from me, they are Maya. Means if we see that myself, I am a separate person than Krishna, that is wrong. Because this body is given to me by Krishna. As a living entity, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 15.6, Krishna says, Mame 15.7, Mame amsho jiva loke jiv bhuta sanatana. The living entity are my part and parcel. We cannot be separate from Krishna. If we become separate from Krishna, that is Maya. Maya. So like Srila Prabhupada give example very nicely in Srimad Bhagavatam, like by the power of sun, cloud created. You see, when the sunlight is very powerful and falls on the ocean, the water evaporates, becomes cloud. And when that cloud come on the ground, on the top of ground, that cloud covers our eyes so that we cannot see sun. If there's sun in the sky, but the cloud comes and covers our eyes, we cannot see sun. So this cloud is like a Maya or material energy of the Lord. So this material energy is also not separate from Krishna. This material energy is also not separate from Krishna. Maya is one of Krishna's energy. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumi rapo anulo vayu khammana buddhireva cha ahankarityam me binna prakriti ashtadha. So this eightfold separate energy of Krishna is called Maya. Earth, fire, air, ether, water, mind, intelligent, false ego. These are 8 separate energy of Krishna, and this is product of Maya, material energy of the Lord. Maya means that is not. Maya means which is where there is no Krishna, there is Maya. So here Krishna is very clearly saying that if you see whatever you see of any value, it is because of me. If you see there is no, if there is any value and you see without me, that is no reality. Means if we see like we have a house, we have a car, we have somebody very highly educated, they have a lot of money, lot of power, everything. But if all these things are of any value, then they are with the relationship with Krishna. If they are not in relationship with Krishna, then they actually have factually no value, because eventually they are becoming product of Maya. So that is what here Krishna is explaining what is Maya. Know it as my illusory energy. Krishna is saying that you understand this as my illusory energy. And what is that illusory energy? Is that a practical example is given by Krishna, is that reflection which appear in the darkness. A reflection which appear in the darkness. For example, if you are in a dark room, and there is a rope in the room, and because it's darkness, we cannot clearly see whether it's a rope or a snake. But by mistake, a person can think that is a snake and get scared because out of that. So that is, there is a rope there, but a person is getting reflection of a snake there. But when you turn on the light, the illusion drives away, and we can clearly see that there is a rope, not a snake. So this illusion, that we think rope as a snake, that is Maya. That is reflection. That is what Prabhupada says, that Maya is nothing but it's a reflection in the darkness. And how to drive away this Maya? Turn on the light. Turn on the light means get transcendental knowledge from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Maya can be taken away very easily by process of transcendental knowledge. Om Ajnana Timirdasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. We offer our obeisances to the spiritual master because they have opened our darkened eyes, which was like which we created because we born in the darkness of ignorance by the knowledge of by the torchlight of knowledge. So in reality, this Maya is avidya. Maya is avidya. And how to drive a Maya is vidya, knowledge, knowledge of the absolute, knowledge of Krishna, knowledge of the living entity. Who am I? Who is Krishna? What is my relationship with Krishna? When we know about this Maya will drive away very easily and we become perfect. So this process, this Sambandha Tattva is explained in this particular verse that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead and this illusory energy is nothing but Krishna's energy. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada given many examples, so I'm not going through the detail because we have already read it. But Srila Prabhupada explained that Krishna has two major energies, Yog Maya and Mahamaya or Devi Maya. So right now in the material world is controlled by Mahamaya or Devi Maya, while the spiritual world is controlled by the Yog Maya potency of the Lord. We as a living entity have a choice whether we live under the Yog Maya or whether we live under the Mahamaya. So Mahamaya is a energy of separation from Krishna. Maya separates us from material energy, separates us from Krishna, while Yog Maya is an energy of union. Here Prabhupada says that the Yog Maya or the energy of the union. So the right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is Yog Maya or energy of the union. When we see everything as an energy of Krishna, that is Yog Maya effect. When we see things separate from Krishna, that is Mahamaya here. The wrong conception of detaching a thing from relationship with the Lord is called Lord's Devi Maya or Mahamaya. But both has a connection with the Lord. As we say, both the Mahamaya and the Yog Maya's connection with the Lord. Nothing can exist without the Lord. This is very, very important point. We need to understand that. And this, as I explained, this Mahamaya is also a product of Krishna's energy. It's not separate from Krishna. Wherever there is no Krishna, there is Maya. Right? So here further, I'm just skipping some of the purport part. So here, Srila Prabhupada explained the Vedanta Sutra in the very beginning affirmed that everything born of Supreme. This is a Janmadi Asya Yataha. Vedanta Sutra start with Athato Brahma Jigyasaha. First one. The first aphorism is Athato Brahma Jigyasaha, which means that it is time now for us to understand or we should inquire about Brahman. And the second aphorism, Janmadyasya Yataha, means everything, whatever we see, animate or inanimate in this material world is created and controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever we see in this material world or in the spiritual world or anywhere else, whatever, it's all coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna is the source of all living entity. Even Lord Brahma appeared from the navel of Lord Vishnu. So even Lord Brahma is not independent. Here Prabhupada explained in this purport that the living entity have independence, but that independence is minute and is dependent upon the independence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The minute independence that we are seeing is because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the real independence. Swarat. In the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadyasya to anvyadi tatascharteshva bhigya swarat tene brahma hridayadikaviye moyantyat surya tejovari mardam yatha vinimo yatrati sargo marsha dhamna svena sada nirastu kukam satyam param dhimahi. Srila Ved Vyas Muni In the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Gayatri Mantra, is explaining and glorifying his Istadeva, Sri Lord Sri Krishna, by both direct and indirect qualities. And one of the qualities, Swarat. The Lord is supremely independent. There is nobody beyond Lord. Lord is the final word or the ultimate word in the transcendence. But we, a living entity, are part and parcel of Krishna. So we have independence, but our independence is not real. Here Prabhupada says that the individual living entity is not real independence, but as a reflection of the real independence exists in the Supreme Being. The false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned soul is illusion. If we think that we are independent, like as we see, like we celebrate July 4th as Independence Day, that independence is not the real independence. That independence is just independence from the Britishers. Right? Or in India, we celebrate August 15 as Independence Day from the British Empire. But the real independence is that when we become servant of the Lord, our real independence lies in that serving of the Lord. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Master. We are his part and parcel. We are his servants. So our job or our duty is to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is real independence. Other independence are basically not the real independence. Then Srila Prabhupada gives many examples of how these scientists, psychologists, these philosophers, they get illusioned. There are so many people who are getting illusioned by this material energy. They are not really getting how that Lord is acting, how the Lord is creating this material energy, and how the material energy is confusing us so much. So here in this particular verse, very clearly Krishna, Srila Prabhupada actually given lot of examples. But ultimately, Srila Prabhupada explained that this material world is nothing but a product of Krishna's illusory energy. And we need to understand that this material world has a relationship with Krishna. Krishna is the supremely master. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Janam karam cha me divyam evam vivati tatvata tektva deham punajanam nayate mamiti swarjuna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this, that my activity and my birth, they are all transcendental. They are not material. When Lord appears in the material world here and performs his activity, they are all on the spiritual platform, not on material platform. If we can understand that fact, then we can understand that Lord is transcendental and Lord is beyond his material energy. So whatever the activity a person performs without connection with the Lord is actually a product of Maya. And that very clearly mentioned here. So if you understand in the previous verse, which is Sambandha Tattva, we understand Krishna is a supreme person and we are part and parcel of Krishna. And our relationship with Krishna is that we are servant of Krishna and Krishna is the master. And now here, Krishna is explaining what is Maya, so that we can discriminate that whether we are in Maya or whether we are in Yoga Maya or whether we are in Mahamaya. We have all tried to go into the production of Yoga Maya. We are right now, people are working, the living entity are suffering under the Mahamaya, but we need to move it out. And how we can move it? By transcendental knowledge, by the Abhidheya process, through which we can move it, and then ultimately we get the goal of the life. What is Krishna Prema? Saharasyam. So we're going to get that. So that is the next verse 35 and 36 going to discuss. Okay, let me stop here now and see if there's anyone have any comment or any question or anything they want to share their reflections.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes.
Very, very nice class. Nice. Second Chaturshloka. So very nice, and it's very motivating that we should see everything in relation to Krishna, and then only there is a value. And we should be under Yoga Maya and not under Mahamaya. Yoga Maya means transcendental knowledge. So I just got this. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share?
Yeah, Prabhu, the second verse of Chaturloki, it deals mostly with what? With relationship. You say the Sambandha Parija, and Prayojana and what
Yeah,
the second?
this is Sambandha Tattva.
Sambandha. Okay.
Yeah, here Krishna is explaining the nature of Maya so that we can understand that what is Maya. If people get confused that things which are here have value even without relationship with Krishna. So Krishna is saying no, anything without the relationship of Krishna has no value. So it means we should understand what is Maya so that we can actually get rid of this Maya and go to the shelter of Krishna and taking the shelter of Yoga Maya. So here the nature of Maya is explained so that we can actually see that our real relationship is with not with Maya but with Krishna.
Oh my.
All right.
The examples are very good, Prabhu. What is that rope and snake example
Yes.
he gave? That was very good, and that took Parikshit Maharaj into that kind of 7 days Bhagavatam, Saptaham. Because of that rope, the dead snake, he put in Rishi's this thing. I don't know whether is it really dead snake or is it really regular snake. I don't know, but that made him all that story, Parikshit Maharaj story. Is that right?
No, that was separate. This is example, Mataji. This is to explain what is Vidya and what is Avidya. What Parishit Maharaj did was a separate thing. He took a dead snake and put it in the neck of Shamik Rishi. But that was a different thing. That was not. There's no illusion or confusion there.
Oh, okay.
Here the example is given to explain what is Vidya, what is Maya, what is the real knowledge. So that is what I explained. It is a very famous example given by all the philosophers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, all right. Any other question, comment before we end?
But Prabhu, can you explain this? Jnana, Vijnana, the Tadang, what is it? Tadangam?
Tad angam.
Tadangam and Sarad.
Sarahasyam.
Sarasya.
If you take the verse number 31, if in this chapter, verse number there is a verse number 31, so we can go there. In that verse, these four components are explained what Krishna is saying here. Okay. Here is this. Here it says Jnanam, Vijnanam, Sarahasyam, Tad Angam. These are four things.
But after Vijnanam is not Tadangam?
Yeah, no, like this, the verse number 35, is actually Sarahasyam. First is explaining Sarahasyam and then is giving the Tadangam later.
Okay.
Just flip-flop, like Jnana is verse number 33, Vijnana is verse number 34, then Sarahasyam is verse number 35, and Tadangam is verse number 36.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5. How come it 5, Prabhu? Jnanam, Vijnanam, Sarangam,
And Tadangam.
Huh?
There are four. Jnanam, Vijnana, Sarahasyam, and
Tadangam.
This is what Krishna explained to Bhagavad, like Lord Brahma in this four
So
verses.
these are the 4 slokas called Chat Shloka.
Yes, Mata. Chatur Shloki Shloka. These are the primary verses. These are the first verses that Krishna gave it to Lord Brahma, and these verses expanded by Vedvyas Muni into the Srimad Bhagavatam.
But other 3 Krishna didn't explain.
Which
the
three?
first he started now. But all the 4 slokas, Chatu slokas, Krishna explained or Vedavyas did.
Yeah, they are here. These 4 shlokas from verse number 33, 34,
Yeah.
35, 36.
Yeah. Who explains? Krishna himself explained. Is
Yeah,
that right?
Krishna explained to Lord Brahma.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want. Very good, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Nice.
Okay.
These are. I'm just paying too much. I want to know thoroughly. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah,
But
these are very important verses. These 4 verses are the basis of Srimad Bhagavatam. All the philosophy is explained in these 4 verses.
okay, very nice ones. Very knowledgeable.
It's very hard to understand,
Yeah.
all the philosophies explained in the
Yes.
four verses. So how we come to the conclusion? How do we? For me personally,
Yes. No, so the idea, Mataji, is that there are 3 components, 3 Sambandha, Abhideya, Pariyojana. We need to understand who Krishna is, who is the Lord, and who we are, and what is our relationship. That's called Sambandha Tattva. Then we have Abhideya, which is the process of bhakti, how to worship the Lord, how to approach the Lord. And the final is Krishna Prema, achieving the Lord, this which is Prayojan Tattva. So these three
That's
things are
very good.
explained. These 3 things are explained everywhere in the Srimad. The whole Vedas, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is based on this. And these 4 verses actually gives those 3 components very clearly by the Lord to Lord Brahma. And they get expanded into the whole Srimad Bhagavatam.
That's good. It's very, very knowledge thing. Yes, we have to read all this thing, purports again and again.
Yes, Mata. Srila Prabhupada has given lot of good commentary on this so that we can understand these things very clearly.
But one thing, Prabhu, explanation like you people, that makes a lot of difference too.
Yeah, we just try to understand what Prabhupada is saying.
Shavanam is the one.
Yes, Mata.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
All right. Okay, so thank you all for joining. We can end now. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa
Vasindobhyev cha
Patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Kodi Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila
Hare
Prabhupada ki
Hare
jai,
Ki
Srimad
Jai.
Puran ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.